Hello, um, welcome to the third video, the third training video in this series. Hopefully it's going to be an ongoing series. I don't really see any reason to stop doing this ever. And in this video, what we're going to talk about, like the next big thing for us to consider is how to start grouping content together. So from previous videos, we've created kind of individual pieces of content and uploaded them onto this new website. But now we need to kind of create the landing pages and sort out the taxonomies that will kind of group things together and make them easy for users and audiences to kind of navigate their way through. So you'll notice on all of the websites that we've deployed, there are these four thematic areas, and as mentioned previously, these are based on our organizational strategy. So theoretically, at least, every single country office is aligned behind these four areas. Let's have a look at the landing climate page. So we've already done some work on the international site to kind of get this content together, and we also use this as like, you know, kind of a testing ground to make sure that all of the pieces of technology that we've made actually work. And what I'm going to do for this video, if I just scroll past all of this, we'll see we've got a section on climate justice. Now, this climate justice page is like a sub-page from landing climate. At least it is in our case. How you organize kind of beneath these four key themes is entirely up to you. You might not want to have sub-themes. But for the purposes of showing you how this technology works, I'm going to, first of all, kind of talk through the different elements that are on this climate justice page at the moment. And then I'm going to delete this page and recreate it step by step. So hopefully you'll be able to follow all of that and then make as many different landing pages as you like. So you'll notice at the top we lead with some nice full screen photography. It's going to be really important that you pick like the best photography that you have and make sure that it's a high resolution photograph in order for it to look good. We've got the title displayed here. We've got a brief introduction section, and this does need to be quite brief, that basically gives users a very, very quick introduction to the topic. We've then got another text area here that can go into a little bit more detail about what it is that we do. This isn't final text, we're still sub-editing this, but it's kind of here for the time being. We've got a latest section, and you might think this is a little bit familiar. It's sort of based on what we've got on the, let me show you actually, on the home pages for the old site. It's a very similar setup. Tum-ti-tum. Wait for this to load. Well, actually, the filters have disappeared off this. But if there were multiple different types of content being displayed on this, there'd be a set of filters at the top, so you can decide which kind of content to show. And so we're doing exactly the same with this. We have a bunch of different content types that are already tagged with climate justice. And if we hit the news filter, okay, that's sort of not working at the moment. We will get that working, but when it does work, you'll be able to click on one of these filters and it will only display, for instance, the publications or the stories or what have you. So we've got a couple of news items at the top, we've got a story here and an opinion piece, and then some old publications that got migrated over. And that's actually it for this page at the moment. When we rebuild it, we're going to add something, a little something extra to make it a bit more engaging, but yeah, all right, I will get to the business of deleting this page. So when you're logged in, you'll get the kind of view and edit menu up here. And if we were looking at another kind of content, let's just jump into a news post. You'll see at the top here we've got view and edit. But for other kinds of content, you get the option to delete them or to kind of go back on previous revisions. We don't have that with the landing pages, and the reason is because they are produced through the taxonomy system, which is slightly different. The 4 main thematic areas are found under the themes taxonomy, and they're relatively fixed. You can create sub-themes, but we ask that you don't rename or repurpose the top level themes because it's the organizational strategy. But we have another vocabulary called categories, and you can put whatever you like in here. Excuse me. So if you have kind of specific areas of work that don't really fit under emergencies, land and climate, politics, economics and women, for instance, if you've got a local rights program and you want to kind of group content under that, category would be the best option for that. But let's jump into the themes for the time being. So on the international site, we have all of these sub-theme areas. What we've deployed to country sites so far is just the top level themes. So if you go into this part of the website, you'll just see emergencies, land and climate, etc. And here we've got climate justice. If we click on this link, we get taken to the climate justice page, but let's go back. And if we click over here, can we delete here? Yeah, we can delete from here. Or you can click edit, and this is the interface that we're going to return to in order to add all of our content. I'll run through very, very quickly the different items here. The primary image is something that you'll be familiar with from the last video. We have the option for a primary image for almost all of the different kinds of content that we have, and a caption for the image. The introduction and the introduction heading, these are, tell you what, let me open this in a new tab, and I'll show you these side by side. So the primary image is this up here, and the name of the taxonomy term is the title of the page that appears at the top there. The primary image caption, this appears because we had issues trying to fit in the caption for mobile, so the caption is now visible on heading images by clicking on this little camera icon, and then it appears with the image credit. So it doesn't actually get in the way, but the information's there for anyone who needs it. So moving slightly down, we've got the introduction, heading, and the introduction. So the introduction displays here. And yeah, that needs to be kept relatively short. And the introduction heading, we've left it blank on this, and by default, it goes to the text, why it's so important. But you can change that to whatever you like by just adding whatever you like in there. Next, we've got the summary. Now, this isn't displayed on the page, but it is displayed in previews and things like that. I'll jump back to the land and climate page to show you an example of the preview, and you know, kind of emphasize the importance of keeping it short. See, the summary text displays here, and I mean, it's just one relatively short sentence in this case, but if it was a longer sentence, it'd actually push all of this text upwards, and it might begin to obscure the photo. And when people kind of tweet and share your page, that summary is also displayed by default in that kind of preview text. So it's important to keep it short, and in this case we've just used a shorter version of what's in the introduction. And then below that we've got our different content sections. And content sections this is something that's available in most other content types. It's something that allows you to kind of add blocks of content and to rearrange them if you need to, and add certain things that you might need, but also not add things that, excuse me, not add things that you think that you won't need. So in this case, we've started off with a text-only block, and this is where we've got the Sorry about this, my voice is going. This is where we've got this text here. It just gives like a little bit more detail. It's from here down to about here. Yeah. And it just goes into a little bit more detail about what we do and why on the topic of climate justice. And that can be anything that you want. Below that, we've got a latest content listings. And this is what generates this block. That sort of doesn't work at the moment. We will get that fixed. But it automatically displays anything that's been tagged with the climate justice tag. And it's also worth noting that on the land and climate page, because climate justice is a sub-theme of land and climate, the climate justice content also displays in this listing. So let's go back to climate justice. So that's everything that's there at the moment. Hopefully I've got, so I've got the text copied here. Hopefully that's not going anywhere. I've got the image on Stories Hub here. And that is, I think, all I need. Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to delete the image so I can show you that being uploaded again. And then I'm going to delete the taxonomy term. So I've gone into content here, and then if I click on media, this will show all of the images and file uploads that have been uploaded onto this site. So this is the image that we're looking for. Edit that. I'm also going to copy this text because I've already kind of paraphrased this from the information that's on Stories Hub, but I don't want to have to do that again, so I'm just going to add that up here. All right, so I'll delete this. This action cannot be undone. Anything that you delete is gone forever. So bear that in mind. I'll get rid of that tab, and I'll go into Structure, Taxonomy, and Themes, and click this. And let's just see what's happened to climate justice now that the image is gone. Yes, the primary image has disappeared. So, actually, I'll click the back button to get there, and I will delete climate justice. Deleting a term will also delete its children, but this doesn't have any children. In fact, climate justice is a child of land and climate. This action cannot be undone. Oh, that was scary. Right, so we see that climate justice is gone, but everything else is still there. That's good. So, and yeah, just to reiterate, if you need to add categories of your own choosing, the process for that is exactly the same. So we go to the structure and taxonomy and the type of taxonomy that you want, and then we're going to click on the button Add Term. And here we basically have a fresh blank page for our climate justice. So I'll put in the name here, climate justice. For the primary image, so we deleted it from the system, but if we hadn't deleted it from the system, we'd be able to just kind of select an existing image that's already been uploaded, but we'll upload it again here. We'll select it. You're going to have to download these from Stories Hub in the first place. So how am I going to find this? The number, the Stories Hub, the resource ID is 180214. So in my downloads folder, it should also be titled 180214. And there we are. And there we go, it's uploaded. If you recall, we've got this little kind of cross on the image preview, And I'm just going to click once on the area of the photo that's the main focus, just to ensure that it doesn't get cropped unfairly. We should have, yes we do, we have a photographer's credit, and that doesn't have /ActionAid on it, so I will add that myself. Oh, look at that. I've done this before. And for the alternative text and the name, and indeed the caption, I'm going to copy that text that I've already put together and paste it in these boxes. So now we can save that, and it's been added as before. And we'll make the image caption the same thing. So that's already done. Moving down, we've got our introduction. So the introduction is this very, very short piece of text. Let's paste it in there. And we'll leave this blank, but by default it will say why it's important. And if your website's in a different language, it's going to be highly recommended to kind of put your own piece of text here instead of allowing the English default to display. Moving down to the summary. So yes, for the summary, what we did was we essentially took this first sentence, which is actually this long, and just decided to use this first part of it. So we'll copy that and paste it in there. And put a full stop at the end. I'll just check that's right. Oh no, I didn't copy that across because it's just taken from that. And so by default, we've got a text-only section in the content sections, and that's the only thing. So we will take our introduction text, copy it, and paste it in here. Now there's a little bit of formatting we need to do here. So this, what we do, needs to be a heading rather than just a normal piece of text. So rather than just click on bold, which keeps the text the same kind of size but doesn't actually kind of bring it out very much, I'm going to click on this box and select heading 2. Generally speaking, any headings that you use, so the main heading for the page will be a heading 1, and we'll see we don't have the option to add any more heading 1s here. And then any headings that we use below that should be a heading 2. Unless you have another kind of subsection to your heading 2, in which case go for like heading 3. But yeah, unless you already have like a main heading that this is a subsection of, you should go for heading 2. And indeed, if you've got like lots of different headings of different sizes, then maybe you should think about kind of breaking down the content into different pages. And we also have this bullet pointed list that currently just uses, slightly annoyingly, little dashes. So I'm going to delete all of these, select this section and click on the bullet points. And so now we have a suitably formatted text section for this landing page. But that's not all we want, right? I mean, we want to display the content that we've uploaded onto the website that's been tagged with climate justice. So we will add a content section, and the content section that we want is the latest content listings. And this is the block that we've just seen. This got the different filters. We'll give it a title of just latest. I think that'll do. I think the subtitle won't work. I think we've just removed that, so ignore that field. And tell you what, let's save this. It's been created. We've got a new term called climate justice. And let's jump back into the structure, taxonomy, and theme section just to see where it's appeared. So yes, we've added this new theme, but it's come at the top level. It's not a child of land and climate, but we want it to be in order for the climate justice content to display on the land and climate page. So I'm going to drag this down so that it's under land and climate, and also ensure that it's at this kind of next level across, and that means that it's a child. And you see we've got this star here, which means that there are unsaved changes, so we have to go down to the bottom of this page and click Save. And there we go. Oh, how's about that? The URL has become land and climate / climate justice. That's a good thing, but it does mean that I'm going to have to go back and change my other sub-themes. But let's move on. So we've got our heading image here, and the title, and the introduction, and that piece of text, and there's nothing in the latest section because all of the content that we had before was tagged with climate justice, but then we deleted the tag, and so all of the tags got removed from all those other pieces of content. So what I'm going to do is go into my content section, my content interface, and I'm going to find all of the pieces that we had tagged with climate justice before. So it was that one. That was definitely on climate. And this was on climate. And this was on climate. And the rest of the publications that were migrated before. So yes, for all of these pieces of content, in the themes and categories interface, I'm going to scroll down in the theme and just click on climate justice and then save. And what we'll find is that if we view this story now, we have the climate justice tag, and if we click on that, it takes us to the climate justice landing page that we just created. And it's clearly going to take a little bit of time for the caches to update, but eventually that will display there. Hopefully it won't take too long. I could definitely have planned this better. This is a classic demonstration of why you shouldn't delete taxonomy terms like I did at the start of this video. But I did get ample warning. Climate justice, I'll save that. And themes, climate justice, save. Lovely, so I can get rid of all of these, and get rid of this as well because we're finished with it. And so let's go back to the home page. We'll hit land and climate. Hopefully it's still there. Yeah, it's still there. We'll click on climate justice. And I'm taking it on faith at this point that the content's going to appear there. It was certainly there before. Anyway, so we'll go back into edit and I'll show you some of the other kind of bits and pieces that we can add to this under the content sections. So if we add another content section, the first thing that I want to show you is promoted content. So this is a handy way of, because there's the, tell you what, I'll show you. If we go back to the site, let's look at politics and economics. Oh, there's only one here. Is there more for emergencies, maybe? So yeah, under the kind of latest block, there's all of these kind of pieces of content sort of jumbled together, and the order that they're displayed in is just a matter of what's the most recent. Indeed, this is the latest content. But it might be the case that you've got a For instance, in this example, actually, I might do this now. Yeah, I'm going to do this now. For this example, we've got like a really, really good blog that was put together that explains why we, why we prioritize women in emergency responses. So for the emergencies page, I'd actually quite like for that to be bigger and for more attention to be drawn to it. So what I'm going to do is, can I edit this? All right, we'll go through the taxonomy. Actually, I think I've already added it on this. I might have already added it here. Okay, it's the only block in there. Tell you what, I'm just going to add a random piece of content to climate justice. Why not? Why not indeed? I'm going to hit add content section and then promoted content. And here, see, it's added this block here. What shall we add? Oh, there was a blog by Harjeet. Wasn't there? Yeah, ActionAid demands climate justice. So we'll start typing in here, ActionAid demands climate justice, and it's already kind of suggested it for us. So all we do is click on that, and if we save it, then at the bottom of the page we should have a special block that kind of focuses on that piece of content. Oh look, the latest content's appeared. Wonderful. So I knew it wouldn't take very long. And then I might zoom out a little bit so we can see this in action. So this is a much bigger block. It provides much more focus on that piece of content. And you can click read more, or in fact you can click anywhere here and it'll take us to that piece of promoted content. So let's go back to the climate justice page and edit it. So one of the really kind of funky things about these content sections is that they can be rearranged as much as you like. So if you add a new section, it will by default appear at the bottom of the page. But you can move it up by dragging one of these crosses on the left-hand side. So let's say that we want this promoted piece of content to appear above the kind of regular, boring, chronological content listings. All we do is click and drag it up. And we'll see we've got the little asterisk here. That means that there are unsaved changes here. So if we hit save, and then look at the page again, that promoted block is now directly below the text and above the latest content, which is what we wanted. Another thing that I want to show you, so some of these content sections kind of only apply to certain kinds of content type. For instance, the latest content listings only really works on a taxonomy page or on a home page. It doesn't really kind of make sense to have that on, for instance, a blog post. However, the promoted content can be displayed just about anywhere. Now, another piece of content that can be displayed just about anywhere is a video. And these are really, really easy to add. We click on the Add Content section and the Video Only block. And here, there's only two fields. There's a video reference and a caption. So I've got a video selected already. This is a case study from Senegal and the Gambia to do with climate change. So we're going to select the web address of this piece of content. I'm going to copy that and simply paste it into the video reference box. We also want to give it a caption. Now the caption appears kind of just below, and I'm going to take the caption that we used on YouTube because that makes sense, and I'll paste it in there. Again, this will appear at the bottom of the page, but that's kind of fine. We'll save that. And if there are any errors, then it kind of wouldn't save, and it would let us know, at the top what's happened. But we've got the green tick, so that's all good. If we hit Climate Justice to look at the page again, we've got our text, we've got our promoted block, we've got the latest content, and a video. So all the videos that display across the site, it starts off with a preview, and if you click the play button, it then kind of converts it into a YouTube embed. And here's our caption underneath. So all of these different kind of methods are ways that we can kind of spruce up the landing pages that we have. And a bunch of these different options are also available for stories and opinion posts and that kind of thing, and home pages indeed. You might even kind of conclude that you'd rather not have a latest section on your homepage, and that you just want to have very, very kind of selective pieces of content. For instance, like your best video and a couple of case studies that you've kind of specifically picked out. So yeah, I mean that's sort of it. Yeah, that's kind of it in terms of grouping content together. You've just got to remember that all of your landing pages are taxonomy terms. You've got to bear in mind that there is a kind of hierarchical structure behind them. If you want sub-themes, we can do that, but you just got to make sure that it is a kind of child of the main theme. What else? What else? Yeah, you can chuck all sorts of stuff in, and you can tweak it to your own preference. Yeah, I think that'll do for this video. I need to go in and do a bit of cleaning and do some bug reporting, but hopefully you found this video useful. If you have any issues or any questions while you're kind of uploading your content and getting organized, just drop me an email. I am rob.safar@actionaid.org, but hopefully we're already in touch anyway. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Oh yes, one more thing. If there are any specific areas that you'd like a little bit of extra help with, let me know, and we can relatively easily kind of make a video for that. We'll do one on kind of user management at some point in the future. I know there are other content types that we need to look at. Sometimes you have specific kind of members of staff that do specific things, like uploading jobs, so we might need specific training on that. But anyway, let me know what kind of questions you have, what uncertainties you have, and what you need, and we will be able to provide training guides on it. And if you find any bugs, please let me know. Always let me know about the bugs. I love bugs. Alright, thanks very much. See you in the next video.